They made a choice. And they chose the wrong person to cross. They think they've found a victim for their game. They don't know she's death incarnate. And tonight, nobody leaves. The movie opens with two sisters arriving at a grocery store on their way to New York. They are clearly running from something. The younger sister is terrified that he will find them, beat them again, and lock them back in the basement. Her older sister firmly promises that it will never happen. Moments later, the little girl shoplifts an item just as a man walks into the store, forcing the sisters to hide. The man is their abusive father. He calls out to them, promising he won't be angry. While he is distracted, the sisters make a break for it, but the stolen item sets off the security alarm. The panicked girls rush out into the pouring rain with their dad hot on their heels. He manages to corner them in an alley. With no other choice, the older sister pulls out a gun and shoots him. The injured man collapses but grabs his younger daughter's leg just as the police pull up. In a flash of pure desperation, the older sister abandons her little sister and flees into the night. The scene cuts to 10 years later on a rainy night in Manhattan. The older sister arrives at a luxury high-rise and rings the bell. The building's superintendent, Lily, greets her. The woman explains she is the new maid and hands over her ID, which reads Isabel Davison. Lily welcomes her inside and explains that the building, known as the Virgil, was built back in 1923. It sits in a once dangerous neighborhood that gentrification turned into one of Manhattan's most exclusive hotspots. Before going any further, Lily demands Isabel hand over her cell phone, claiming the high-profile residents require absolute privacy. Lily introduces her to a few tenants, including a pleasant couple and Sharon, the wealthy owner of a booming anti-aging cosmetics company. Lily then leads Isabel downstairs to the staff quarters, mentioning that another maid will be assisting her tonight. In the room, Lily finds her intoxicated husband, Ray, and gets irritated. Ray claims he was just taking out the trash, but after a quick argument, he curses his wife and walks out. Once she is alone, Isabel settles into her new room. She heads to the bathroom to take a shower, completely missing a creepy message forming in the steam on the mirror that reads, "They will kill you." Around 3:17 a.m., while Isabel is fast asleep, the horror begins. A hooded figure wearing a disturbing pig mask suddenly materializes in her room. Isabel wakes up but can't see anyone in the dark. Taking advantage of the distraction, the masked man lunges from behind and attacks her. Isabel fights back violently, slamming his head against a table and knocking him unconscious. Suddenly, a second masked figure drops down from the ventilation shaft. Another person pushes the refrigerator aside, revealing a hidden crawlspace in the wall to ambush her. During the chaos, Isabel is overwhelmed and loses consciousness. The two masked attackers strip off their disguises, revealing themselves as Sharon and another resident named Kevin. They unlock the door to let two more accomplices inside, and Sharon begins dragging Isabel's body. Mid-drag, Isabel snaps back to consciousness. Clutching a loose lamp wire, she accidentally electrocutes Sharon. Horrified by the cult of wealthy creeps surrounding her, Isabel bolts and hides inside a nearby closet. By now, Sharon and the pig-masked man, whose name is Bob, regain consciousness and arm themselves to hunt her down. Moments later, Kevin rips the closet door open, but the trap backfires completely. Isabel swings a sword and instantly decapitates him. It turns out she brought a duffel bag packed with a lethal weapons collection, and now, the hunt turns into a survival bloodbath. She is highly trained, tearing through the group and slicing up her attackers one by one. Soon, only Sharon is left standing. Sharon tries to shoot her, but her gun clicks empty. The two women engage in a brutal sword fight. Bob wakes up and swings a knife at Isabel, but misses and accidentally stabs Sharon instead. Isabel exploits the mistake, driving her blade home to finish Sharon off. Terrified, Bob bolts into the hallway, but Isabel tracks him down just as Lily steps out. Lily commends her combat skills but instantly realizes this woman is a fraud. She demands to know her real identity and why she lied to get the job. The woman confesses that her name isn't Isabel, it's Aya Reeves, and she reveals the dark truth that brought her to the Virgil. 10 years ago, after Aya fled the supermarket, her father survived the gunshot wound and retained custody of her little sister, Maria. Aya was eventually arrested for the shooting and locked away. The moment she was released, she vowed to find her sister. She hired a private investigator who tracked Maria's last known location to the Virgil. The investigator warned her that the exclusive building had a sinister reputation, with a long list of minority and undocumented employees vanishing without a trace. He also discovered the name of a woman scheduled to start a maid gig there the following month. Aya intercepted the real Isabel Davison, stole her identity, and took her place. Back in the present, Aya demands that Lily hand over Maria or she will slaughter everyone in the building. Suddenly, the nightmare takes a supernatural turn. The neighbors Aya just brutally slaughtered walk into the hallway completely unharmed. Even Kevin, whose head was completely severed, stands before her as their mangled flesh slowly regenerates. They are completely immortal. Terrified by the realization, Aya stabs a charging maid and locks herself inside a nearby apartment. Inside the room, a young boy catches her off guard and stabs her in the back, but she easily knocks him out. Out in the hall, the stabbed maid collapses, but Lily casually tells her to just clean up the blood once she resurrects. Nursing her wounds, Aya searches the apartment and discovers a trapdoor leading into a claustrophobic crawlspace. She inches through the walls while the immortal tenants hunt for her. She stops near a vent and overhears Lily furiously scolding the tenants for letting one girl outsmart 5 of them, reminding them that the grand ritualistic offering must happen tonight. Lily detects a noise in the wall, rips open a hidden panel, and spots Aya. Aya slams the door shut, but Kevin repeatedly drives his sword through the wall, impaling Aya's hand. She tears herself free and flees through the corridors. Sharon corners her, but Aya brutally stabs her multiple times and steals her shotgun. When Sharon instantly resurrects and chases her again, Aya uses the shotgun to blow her head clean off. Even without a head, Sharon's body regenerates, but because she is temporarily blinded, she stumbles down the wrong hallway. Suddenly, a hand grabs Aya from the dark. It's Lily's husband, Ray, and he's actually trying to help her. He hides her in a dark corner and asks why she didn't read his warning in the mirror. Ray drops a bombshell explanation. The Virgil is a century-old temple dedicated to Satan. The High Society founders struck a demonic deal for eternal life in exchange for constant human sacrifices. As long as a member's name remains written on a sacred list, they cannot die. The wealthy elite use poor, invisible workers as their lambs for the slaughter. A select few maids are spared to climb the corporate ladder like Lily, but if anyone slips up, their name is wiped from the list, turning them mortal again. Tonight, Aya is the designated sacrifice. Ray guides Aya through the shadows while one of Sharon's regenerating eyeballs literally rolls down the hall, tracking them. They pass a floor where the elite are engaging in wild, debaucherous acts. Ray explains that immortality gets boring fast, so each floor of the building caters to a different sin. Finally, they reach the room where Maria is being kept. The sisters are reunited at last, but the reunion is anything but sweet. When Aya explains that the building is a satanic death trap, Maria calmly replies that she already knows. A flashback reveals that after Aya abandoned her, Maria worked miserable, low-wage jobs where she was constantly harassed. Desperate, she answered a maid advertisement for the Virgil. She was brought in to be sacrificed, but when another maid was caught stealing, the cult altered the roster, sacrificing the thief and inducting Maria into the staff. Back in the present, Maria declares the Virgil is her true home. She violently accuses Aya of abandoning her 10 years ago and claims she doesn't need her protection. As the argument escalates, Aya knocks Maria unconscious to force her escape. Aya asks Ray for an exit strategy, and he explains that the building is structurally designed as a lockdown vault. The only way out is a fire escape ladder accessible on the highly dangerous 9th floor. Just then, Aya spots Sharon's severed eye spying on them from the floor and crushes it beneath her boot. Across the building, Kevin finds Sharon's headless torso, which uses bizarre sign language to point them toward Aya's coordinates. Kevin and an accomplice storm the room, but Aya blasts them back with a shotgun, fleeing into the elevator shaft with Ray and her unconscious sister. Aya manages to push Maria into the elevator car, but the cultists swarm the landing and drag Ray away. The elevator stops at the kitchen floor, where Bob is waiting. The sisters hide just as Maria wakes up. Bob uncovers their hiding spot, corners Aya, and beats her savagely with his rifle. Defending her sister, Maria steps up from behind and buries an axe directly into Bob's skull. To buy them time, Maria ties Bob up securely so he is immobilized when he resurrects. She orders Aya to head up the elevator shaft while she draws the cult's attention. Aya loses her sister in the dark corridors and stumbles into a pitch-black room. She is suddenly ambushed from all angles. She fires blindly into the dark, but the unseen attackers overwhelm her. Bleeding, Aya bursts back into the hallway only to find the entire cult holding Maria at knife point. Refusing to back down, Aya douses her axe in high-proof liquor, sets it ablaze, and charges the crowd. A chaotic, fiery battle erupts. Aya swings her blazing axe, cleaving through waves of immortal cultists. The extreme heat triggers the building's overhead sprinkler system, unleashing a torrential downpour indoors. After hacking down the entire horde, the sisters collapse into each other's arms, finally forgiving the past and reconciling. But the mangled bodies on the floor are already twitching back to life. The sisters scramble up into the elevator shaft. While climbing the structural steel, Maria binds Aya's mangled hand, amazed by her combat skills. Aya admits she learned to fight to survive in prison. Maria reveals that their abusive father died of cancer 2 years prior, and Aya tearfully apologizes for abandoning her to his abuse all those years ago. Meanwhile, a vengeful Lily follows a trail of blood straight to the elevator shaft, tracking their ascent. As the sisters reach the upper landing, Bob cuts them off. Aya fires her weapon but misses. She pulls the trigger again, but the shotgun jams, forcing her to hurl the heavy gun directly at Bob's face. Another cultist charges them at the doorway, but the sisters work together, tossing him over the railing so he crashes into Bob below. They burst through the exit door, only to walk straight into a trap. The entire high society cult is waiting for them in a circle. Cornered, Aya holds a blade to her own throat, threatening to commit suicide because she knows the cult's demonic contract demands a living sacrifice. She demands they let Maria walk free, but Lily bursts into a wicked laugh, revealing the final, terrible twist. A flashback reveals that Maria didn't just survive at the Virgil, she made her own blood pact with the devil. To secure her own immortality, Maria volunteered to lure a fresh sacrifice into the building. She had contacted the real Isabel Davison to act as her lamb, but Aya inadvertently took her place. If Maria doesn't execute the sacrifice before midnight, the devil will claim her life instead. Aya stands paralyzed by the betrayal. Seizing the distraction, Lily steps forward and drives a blade deep into Aya's abdomen. Aya is dragged into the central ritual chamber alongside Ray, who is bound for his execution for betraying the cult. The room is a nightmare of upside-down crosses, centered around a severed pig's head mounted on a stake surrounded by black candles. Lily collects Aya's dripping blood and holds it beneath the snout of the pig. The shadows twist, and Satan materializes in the room, possessing the severed pig head. The jaw cracks open, speaking in a demonic, booming voice. Kevin steps forward, presenting the traitors, Ray and Maria. Lily begs for her husband's life, but the demon simply blinks, erasing Ray's name from the parchment. His immortality vanishes instantly. The demon forces Lily to choose, butcher her husband or join him in hell. Crying, Lily slits Ray's throat. Next, the demonic entity turns its gaze to Maria. Sobbing, Maria begs for a final chance to secure her eternal life. The pig head commands her to execute her sister and carve her own name onto the flesh of the pig to seal the contract. Aya begs her sister to fight it, but Maria has already made her choice. She takes the knife, tearfully carves her name into the list, and steps up to Aya's bound body. She whispers that she wishes they had more time, but instead of stabbing Aya, Maria turns the blade and plunges it directly into her own chest. The cult gasps in absolute shock as Maria collapses. Aya falls beside her, weeping as she watches her little sister take her final breath. A cultist steps forward to grab Aya, but she kicks him back, swipes his knife, and cuts herself free. Suddenly, the demonic voice echoes through the room, declaring a fundamental law of hell: one death for one life. In her final moments, Maria hadn't written her own name on the pig's skin, she had written Aya's. Aya slices the piece of inscribed pig skin containing her name from the stake and shoves it into her pocket. Instantly, the demonic energy surges through her, and her fatal wounds seamlessly knit back together. She is now immortal. Lily screams at the tenants to rip the skin from Aya's pocket to erase her name, and the immortal horde charges. Armed with pure rage and supernatural resilience, Aya unleashes hell. She grabs heavy chains, wrapping them around 2 attackers and hanging them from the rafters. Kevin lunges, but she pins him to the stone wall, driving a blade through his chest, before swinging around to cleanly decapitate Sharon. Bob tackles her against the concrete, but Aya fights dirty, slamming his skull onto a jagged steel rod, killing him instantly. Desperate, Lily screams to the demon for aid. The possessed pig head detaches from the stake and fuses directly onto Lily's neck, transforming her into a monstrous avatar of Satan. A brutal, supernatural showdown begins. The demon slashes Aya, mocking her in Maria's distorted voice, blaming her for her sister's death. Driven by pure fury, Aya overpowers the beast, ripping the possessed pig head clean off Lily's shoulders before impaling Lily's body onto a splintered wooden beam. Aya douses the demonic pig head in gasoline and strikes a match. As the flesh burns, the sacred names inscribed upon it turn to ash. Across the building, the immortal cultists scream as their eternal life evaporates. Their freshly resurrected bodies crumble into dust and decay. Aya hurls the burning head down the corridor into the remaining crowd, where it tumbles into an open elevator shaft, triggering a massive, cinematic explosion that tears through the high-rise. The surviving cultists watch in sheer terror as Aya calmly walks through the flames, carrying her sister's lifeless body in her arms. Out on the rain-slicked streets of Manhattan, Aya meets her private investigator friend. She gently places Maria's body into the back seat of his car. The investigator offers his deepest condolences for her loss. But before the screen fades to black, Aya pulls the charred piece of pig skin from her pocket. The text has shifted. Aya had secretly crossed out her own name and replaced it with her sister's. In the back seat, Maria's eyes snap open as her fatal chest wound vanishes. Aya sacrificed her own eternal life so her sister could live. The reunited sisters drive away into the city as the entire top floor of the Virgil erupts into a spectacular ball of fire. If this insane, blood-soaked hotel horror filled with immortal cultists and a legendary story of sisterly survival kept you locked into your screen, make sure to slam that subscribe button right now. Drop a like, share this video with your movie crew, and comment down below with your absolute favorite kill scene. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time, right here on Cinemaned.